Hello and welcome to We Never Met, the podcast where I have interesting strangers on every single week. Today we have, you can say your name.
Oh, Jessi Woska. Jessi Woska.
Jessi. And we were talking, you do a little bit of everything, but on your Instagram, what sort of drew me to bringing you in is you do chain stitching, which, is it a lost art? Because I don't really know that many chain stitchers out there. I don't even really understand, I don't think, what it is specifically. Like I know it's sewing based.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you're on the right track.
That's all I know.
It's basically freehand embroidery. It's a super old school type of embroidery.
Okay.
It's how they used to embroider Letterman's jackets and biker patches and all of that.
Yeah.
Even like the puffy chenille patches that you see in Letterman jackets, those used to be done with chain stitch machines.
Okay.
So
is that something that went away and then came back, or was that always sort of a thing? Because it's a cool style. Like it looks cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what drew me to it. It has been around for a long time.
Sure.
Like my machine, that specific style was invented in like the 1890s or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's super old. My machine's was built in the
from
50s.
The 1890s.
The 1890s.
Mine's from the original run.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the first one. OG chain stitch machine. Actually, it's from the 50s, but chain stitch embroidery is, kind of tedious, and it's freehand embroidery. So I control the direction of the stitches with a crank underneath the machine.
Okay.
So it's a lot of things happening in tandem.
Yeah.
And so once computerized embroidery started happening.
Oh, so it's all like CAD stuff pretty much? Like this is my design and then like a machine does it for you.
So that's why chain stitching kind of went away for a little while, because it just doesn't make a ton of sense if you're mass producing things.
Right.
To be doing it all by hand, because it really is, you're running a machine, but it's still very much by hand. Like every piece that I make is unique because I'm still freehand drawing it basically.
Yeah.
But it's a single thread embroidery, but it loops back onto itself to give it that like chain look.
Okay. And you have control over all of that.
Over
like the entire design basically.
Yeah. So it's freehand.
Yeah.
So
is it easy to mess up and like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, it's really touchy because you also are running the motor with your foot, and then you have to be able to turn on a dime. So, and you're using this hand crank underneath the machine to control the direction of the stitching and then the needle head.
Yeah.
So, it's really intense when you're stitching. I mean, you get used to it. It's like anything else. It's like muscle memory.
Sure.
But it does give you the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, like stitch whatever you want.
Yeah.
So you can do things like embroider someone's name on their jacket on the spot instead of having to.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of having to like program something and all that. So, but then it is my handwriting. So that's basically what you're getting. It's my handwriting.
I gotcha. Yeah, because I like when you look at those designs that you make, they're like all very perfect, So
thank you.
Yeah. So I was just like, you have to be like insanely good then, because if the margin of error is like, there's so much stuff going on. How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for a few years.
That's it. Just a couple
years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I started doing it by hand at first, which is totally different. And so it's embroidering by hand just because it was something that interested me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make my own design on the back of the jacket. Yeah. And ended up getting my machine after a lot of searching, and I mess up a lot, like, to be real honest.
Do
like
you?
I mess up constantly, and you have to focus incredibly hard. And half the time if you watch me stitching, you don't always see it in the videos when my face is like down in my down, exactly, like down on the fabric, like very close to dangerous parts of the machine. And
as your hair gets like sucked in.
My hair, it's a real problem.
I bet, yeah.
Because the top part spins because when I move the crank, it turns.
Right.
So I wrap my hair in it a lot.
Is it easy to get out?
No.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you do one of the videos where your hair is just stuck in there.
It's bad.
The realities of doing it.
Yeah. So I wear a beanie a lot when I stitch these days for safety reasons.
They should put that on the machine when you get it.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Please watch your hair.
Watch your hair.
You'll just, I've yanked chunks out. It's
That's
good times.
terrible.
I mean, it's fine. I
Yeah.
have a lot of hair.
You don't notice it that much. Have you ever seen the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Where she gets her hair caught in like the roller coaster. Have you seen that?
I don't remember that one.
So
I've definitely seen all the episodes, but I don't remember that.
There's one where they go to New Jersey, I think it is. They go to like that pier with all the rides on it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Dee gets she gets her like puka shell hair, and she gets one of them caught in a giant drop, and it yanks out of her head. That's like what I imagine.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So it is. Is there a lot of chain stitchers here? Is there like a community of people?
There's a couple here. I mean, the chain stitch community is still pretty small. I mean, it's big. It's growing all the time, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty small. There's a small forum of people online that I've like kept in touch with.
Yeah.
But you kind of get to know everybody. Like you kind of get to know everyone and their styles.
Yeah.
It's growing for sure because it's getting more popular, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because it disappeared for a while. Not completely. People were still chain stitching.
Sure.
Especially like in Western wear. They're still making.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Chain stitching has like
cowboy jackets and stuff.
Yeah. And rodeo shirts and all that. Yeah. It has remained through the Western.
Yeah. Do you know who Stitch God is? She does
I have heard of her. But she does hand embroidery, right?
Yeah.
Really like in portraiture. Portraiture.
The old portraiture. She does it for like really big rappers like Chance the Rapper and stuff.
Yeah. I've definitely heard of her. I think I've had a few clients bringing her up and be like, hey, do you know this person is also
because you all know
really
each
cool.
other. Yeah.
All the stitchers.
Yeah, anybody that stitches, we know.
Yeah.
We know each other. No, because I was actually talking to her about being on the podcast.
Cool. Yeah.
I love like handmade things, like things that are made like custom, which is like what you do on a daily basis now. And you were saying before that you sort of have been doing this full time for a year, like a couple years.
I mean, it's been a couple years that it's evolved into stitching being my main thing. Because I was working in fashion before, and I did the whole like quit your job, sat in return.
What were you doing in fashion?
I was an account executive for a women's contemporary apparel brand.
Did you like it or?
No.
Was it like your dream to go into fashion and then you kind of got in and were like, eh?
I got into it. I mean, kind of, you know. I'd worked in fashion wholesale for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And I just kind of got burnt out, you know? And it wasn't requiring anything creative of me. Right. And it was a cool job. It was a cool company. Like it was like an ego job, you know, like people, you'd tell someone and they'd be like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But it was soul sucking. So
I've been in those jobs where you like stay in a job because like basically you can brag about it.
Yeah.
Or it just sounds cool.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I work here. So like, isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
But like, it's not that fun.
It's not, because people will tell you it's cool, but then you have to go there every day. And then you're like,
it's such a fleeting reward to tell, like, it's like, who cares, you know, if they think it's cool, they don't have to go work.
Exactly. Like that's the thing, is that they don't have to go sit in that office every day.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things you can tell yourself and justify staying in a job that you're not happy in for a long time. And you'll tell yourself like, oh, it's like a resume builder.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And really you're just miserable going there for like over 40 hours a week.
Exactly. And it sucks all the energy out of you so that you don't have any energy to do the things you actually like after work. It was like the worst part of it. So
how did you get into that though? Like how did it go from you working in fashion to being like doing chain stitching? Were you just interested? Like, did you see videos about it, or like what drew you to it? I don't remember where I first found out about chain stitching. Maybe it might have, I went to school for fashion, so I might have seen something on it at some point. I'd known about it for a while. Yeah. And had seen it popping up here and there because it has been getting more popular over the last handful of years. And I have always been a kind of like do-it-yourself person. And I decided I wanted to make my own jacket, not make it from scratch, but like put something on the back of a jacket.
because I couldn't find a design I really liked. And so I made my first jacket a handful of years ago. And I mean, YouTube University, I just looked up how to hand embroider. And
so you didn't take any classes or anything like that?
No.
That's really impressive. You must just have like a knack for that kind of stuff, because I feel like if I watched YouTube videos on it, it wouldn't come out like that.
I mean, you didn't see my first jacket, so
fair enough. But still, even if it's only been a couple of years, like in the stuff you're producing now, it's pretty impressive. I feel like it must be a certain type of like mind that you got that you can just go, like your motor skills are a certain way. Throw me on a machine next to you. We should do that for one of your events. Put me on a machine, put you on a machine. We'll make the same design. Yeah. See how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't have any hair, so I don't have to worry about the crank thing. But
and you're gonna get a beanie on, so you're good.
I'm good.
Safety first. It just kind of happened with a lot of practice, I think. But I was wearing that jacket a lot. And since I worked in fashion, I was having people ask me a lot, like, where can I get one? How do I get one?
Sure.
And in my little time off, I would make jackets for people or do custom work for people.
Okay.
And then once I did the whole quit your job, quit your career thing, I suddenly had a lot more time to do things. And it just evolved into opportunity.
So you didn't have like a plan, like you weren't like, I'm going to do chain stitching full time. That's going to be my thing, or not full time, but like my main thing. You just were like, I'm quitting because I hate this.
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
really bold.
I can't. I was like, I can't do this anymore. This can't be all that there is. I'm so miserable. This can't be all that there is. Like this can't. You work your life away to just pay rent, and then sleep, and then wake up the next morning and do it. So I quit and went to Mexico for a little bit and came back and was like, I'm just going to figure it out.
How long were you in Mexico?
Just a handful of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not months.
No, I wish. God, I wish.
Yeah.
I had to come back. I do have a cat, so
yeah,
I
me
had to
too.
come back. Where?
I've actually followed you on Instagram, and it's a very similar looking cat. It's like reversed.
You have a fluffy cat too?
Yeah, they're called ragamuffins. That's what I looked up, because I looked up long-haired Capri's, because I was like, what is she? She's not a Maine Coon. She's only like 12 pounds, so she's not big enough. She doesn't look like him. But yeah, she has like a black sort of V that goes like into her eyes, and then the rest of her is white, and she has a like half black tail.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to see her. She needs to come out here.
Yeah, she's somewhere. But
I tried to figure out what my cat was, and the closest I could get was a Norwegian forest cat.
That's what I thought Eve was too. Yeah,
but I don't know. She's just like a fluffy thing.
They look very similar. They could be related.
That would be cool.
Yeah, but they're probably not. But they just look like really similar. So, but your cat looks very friendly though.
Oh yeah, she's super nice.
With everyone, is she like that, or just with you? Because she's like on you when you're doing stuff.
Yeah, she's really needy. She's very needy. She's not one of those cats who like sits in the corner and looks at you and is like, "Fuck you, don't touch me." She's very much on you, around you, bothering you. She's very moody.
She's like a teenager.
She is. She's like a teenager. She really is. I joke that she's my prisoner and she has Stockholm syndrome because she can't leave my house. Yeah, she's stuck with me till she dies. So sorry. Yeah. But yeah, she's super friendly. She likes most people unless you're a loud stomper, walker type of person, and then that freaks her out.
I think just cats like females more than males, because our cat will like lay on my fiance's chest while she sleeps and stuff, and like. She barely does that with me, like she'll come around, but she won't it's not the same level of like affection.
Do you like thrash around in your sleep a lot or something?
I probably do. Yeah.
That's probably why.
I'm a rocker when I sleep.
That's probably why.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, she's hiding somewhere. But anyways, enough cat talk. Do you make stuff for your cat though? Do you make like cat bandanas? I
have made a couple for her.
Yeah.
Because I use her.
What's her name, by the way?
It's Lennon.
Lennon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she likes the bandanas.
Really?
Which is weird. Because I thought she would hate it.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to do the whole like back out of it thing that cats do.
Oh, yeah.
No, she's into it. She doesn't mind it at all.
Wow.
I don't like to keep it on her very long because I feel like she's going to strangle herself on accident. Get caught on something.
That's why collars are bad too, I feel like, for cats.
Yeah, because cats are so weird.
Yeah.
And they get into stuff and
and jump all over. Like
Exactly.
she sits up there and jumps straight down to the floor sometimes off the
oh,
cabinets.
that's on top of your counter.
I know.
On top of your
She likes
cabinet.
to sleep up there and survey her kingdom, you know? Really look down on us peasants.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get nervous of that too, about having a collar on her.
Yeah, because they're kind of reckless and they're like little acrobats.
Yeah.
So I just put it on her to
Just
laugh
for
a little
photos.
bit
Yeah.
and to take pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like a cowboy. She brings
It's pretty cool. I follow a lot of cats on Instagram these days now.
Well, I'll make you a bandana for your cat. What's
Okay.
your cat's name?
Eve.
Eve. Oh yeah, you said that already.
Yeah.
I'll
that'd be
make-
sweet.
I'll make Eve a bandana for photo ops.
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, we need it because we took a 4th of July photo and we got our 4th of July bandana.
Oh
Hated it.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Not about it.
had it on for about a minute, and then she was just like trying to get it off so much we had to take it off. But we got a quick photo, very quick.
You know, it's what people do with their children too. You know, so,
just
same thing.
be cool for this photo, okay? Then you take
Chill
it off.
out.
Just relax.
Yeah.
So you've done stuff for a lot of people. We actually talking. I found your work through Damn Fine Coffee, which is one of the first coffee shops I went to when I got here. But you made a large banner for them for their 3-year anniversary, or was that it?
Yes, I think it was 3 years.
I think it was.
I think so.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I'll say it's 3. So is there a specific type of like medium that's harder? Is it easier to do it on jackets? Is it harder just to do because you did the entire banner?
Yeah, I made the banner too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I was able to stitch on the fabric and then like construct it into that
Right.
shape and all that. Banners are great to work on
Are they?
because the fabric, it's just fabric.
Mm.
And so they're easy to manipulate. Jackets are the hardest thing to work on.
Really?
I mean, it's great.
I'm
It's really cool to have
yeah.
something directly on a jacket, but I have a very small space that I can fit, like a very small space between the table and the machine.
Okay.
That I have to shove the jacket under.
Mhm.
You know, it's like an inch,
Oh.
and it's like an inch clearance, and so I can't stitch on things that are too thick.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm stitching on really heavy denim.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of vintage pieces and you kind of wrestle with the jacket the whole time. You have to make sure that it doesn't get caught on anything or it's not dragging too much because the smallest little, like if it's bumping into the machine on the side, it'll just mess up your stitching.
And you can't go back, can you? Can you unstitch something and be like,
You can completely unravel something.
oh, really?
And I do that sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. But you have to be careful because you're putting hundreds of holes in a thing and then
Yeah.
you
gotta
only
cover it up then, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta if you redo something too many times, it ends up being weird.
It's just a big hole in your jacket.
Yeah. I'd make jokes about that with people like, I really appreciate you trusting me and letting me put thousands of tiny holes into your expensive jacket that you love.
I hope I do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's interesting. Because there's that show with tattoo artists where you can like go over a tattoo. So I thought like if you do make up like a really bad mess of something, you could just like sort of go over it. Is that not true?
I wish that were the case. You can't really stitch on top of stitches a whole lot because then it gets snagged.
Okay.
So that is also the thing is that if you can't do too many layers of something on top of each other.
Okay.
So most of the time if I mess something up, if I'm lucky, I can pull one thread and it completely unravels the whole thing, which is great, but also bad because you can do that on accident. I've done that on accident.
Which is what you don't want to do.
Yeah. But sometimes you just have to go in there with a seam ripper and just pull apart your work and undo it bit by bit and get in there with tweezers and good fun times.
What do you think like made you want to keep doing it? Like what is it about? Is like the textile aspect of it? Like you're actually doing something with your hands and like you can see the progress, or like what do you think it is that keeps you coming back?
I mean, I love the process of all of it. I like working with clients and them coming to me with ideas, and then I get to sketch them out and we can kind of collaborate on how it's going to end up looking.
Yeah.
And then I love to see a final product. So that's really, really gratifying for me. But also I'm still learning. Like every time that I make a piece, I'm getting better. And I think that's what keeps me doing it is that
It's like a challenge. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, there are incredible chain stitchers out there that I look up to and that I like hope that I can make work as elaborate as them someday.
Yeah.
So I think just that I'm still learning from it, that I'm still growing, that there's still room to improve. That's what is exciting.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about it.
Because to me, it's like, what was the first couple ones that you did? Was it scary for you to be like, I'm charging for this? That's always my fear, is like, I'm afraid like my deliverables will not be, you know what I mean? And so like when you first started learning and people were like, hey, can you do this? And you're like, yes, I can. And then you took it in. Were you like nervous that like the end product was going to be, since you are still learning, or what you were at that point?
Yeah. I mean,
what's the first real thing that you did for someone outside of yourself?
The first thing I did, I think, was a jacket.
Okay.
And I think it was a wolf, maybe like a wolf head.
That sounds hard to do.
It took a long time.
Yeah. So, I'll give it back to you in 6 months. Does
You're
that sound about right?
I think I actually turned it around pretty quickly, and it was a girl in Texas. Was she in Texas?
How'd she find you? Instagram or?
For the first, I don't know. When I first started chain stitching for the first couple years, it was all word of mouth.
Oh wow.
Because I wasn't putting anything on the internet yet. I still my Instagram used to be private. I only recently changed it like 2 years ago to public because I was working with a store and doing an event for them, a chain stitching event. And they're like, hey, can you like make your Instagram public? So
no.
And I was like, I guess I'll like start posting my work.
Yeah. Why didn't you want to make it public? Just a lot of weirdos on the internet.
I mean, there are weirdos on the internet, but I love posting my work. I love all the people I've met through Instagram.
Right,
but
the feedback and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It is a really great way to build community if you use the internet, right? It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think I was just kind of private and had a weird relationship with social media before, and I wasn't like full on calling myself a chain stitcher at that point.
Sure.
But yeah, circle back. My first jacket was the wolf, and yeah, it was a little stressful because I didn't know how much to charge.
Right.
And sometimes that's still
a thing.
And I'm sure like you experience this, everyone experiences this when you set your own prices. It's like you want to be reasonable, but you also don't
want to get ripped off, or you don't want to rip off yourself.
Yeah, and you don't want to end up spending 40 hours on something on accident because and then not charging enough, and then you're like, well, now I can't pay my rent. So yeah.
it's a theme though, because like people I've had on that are, you know, like freelance or do entrepreneurial stuff, like that's always the comment. It's like, I didn't know how to set my prices. Like, because how would you know that? You know, how would you know like what the market value of this thing is that you're doing if you don't, you know, just try it, and you just got to kind of fail and see what works. Yeah,
it's super hard, and it's also, it's like, how do you pay? Like the people are paying for the resources, like the equipment that you use, your creative ability, your experience, all of these things wrapped up in one. Like, how do you put a price on that and still make it accessible to people? Like, that's always the thing. So I do like more intricate back pieces and things that are a little more expensive. But then I also like to do, like, my favorite thing is the holiday season now. So I'm making all those bandanas. I just made 90.
Wow.
Just the bandanas themselves. I made 90 of them yesterday. I finished 90 of them yesterday. That's a lot. Crazy. It was crazy.
Do you have like a shop that you sell them at, like an online store?
No, I'm going to post about them pretty soon. And then people just order through Instagram.
Okay.
And then I'm doing a holiday market. And I'll be stitching them live, like embroidering on the spot.
Yeah.
And
that's got to be even more stressful.
It can be, but I've gotten for me now. I've gotten used to it, but people really like the instant gratification.
It's cool to see too, like live. I feel like. I mean, I've never seen it live, but I can imagine it would be cool to see.
It's mesmerizing to watch. I think the first time I saw a chain stitch machine was on YouTube, and when I was looking up how to hand chain stitch. Yeah. And it's really beautiful. The machines are very like steampunky because they're all gears. But yeah, I embroider people's dog names on bandanas in
Nice.
person, and the prices are really accessible, and then it's just a cool way to be able to kind of have something for everybody. And
Yeah.
then people send me pictures of their dogs.
That's cool. Yeah. Do you
So-
post them on the gram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. I mean, that's really the only reason I make these dog bandanas is to get people to send
So
me
you get
pictures
the
of their
pictures back.
dogs.
You talked about before the people that you look up to in the community. Who are those people? Like, who are some of the people that are chain stitching that you really enjoy?
I mean, there's a handful of them. I mean, there's
are there people here in Chicago that do it?
there's the dude who does all of the embroidery for Post Malone.
I didn't even know Post Malone had embroidered stuff. I'm not a big Post Malone fan.
I mean, I'm not either, but
Yeah.
I know him because of Chainstitching.
I mean, I know who he is. I don't know his wardrobe.
I know his wardrobe because of
Okay.
Chainstitching. All of his outfits are custom, like
What?
completely
That seems
embroidered.
really ridiculous.
It's intense.
Yeah.
And I think his Instagram is Stage Chill Bill or something like that.
okay.
I mean, he's
Classic
amazing.
post, he
It's
would.
amazing. Amazing work.
Yeah.
He does really beautiful, intricate, loud embroidery for all custom for Post Malone, and it's
Wow.
really cool. So I'm sure he's working on like the raw fabric, and then that's being constructed into custom shirts and things. But it's amazing.
He got an entire like career off of one guy, pretty much.
Probably.
Wow.
I doubt he needs more than
Yeah.
Posty.
Especially if all of his clothes are custom.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to Google it afterwards
I
because
will.
it's intense. It's amazing. But yeah, so he's like really good. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people, and they all have different styles. People who work in Western wear are amazing, and it's just so different than what I do.
Sure.
And then
Are you from Chicago? Like, are you from?
No, I'm from Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why'd you come to Chicago for fashion? For fashion.
For fashion.
Where in Missouri? Is it around St. Louis? Because
No.
Columbia. Those are the two ones I know.
I'm from a suburb of Kansas City.
Kansas City. I always forget that's partially in Missouri.
Yeah, there's a Kansas City, Kansas, and a Kansas City, Missouri.
It's split pretty much. Right down the middle, or
I don't know exactly, but
yeah, it's interesting.
There's both, and people get very particular about it. So
Which Kansas City are you from?
they're like from the Kansas side and Missouri side.
Is that which one's the worst side to be from, based on people's reactions?
the Kansas side?
Yep, I already knew that.
Well, all the good stuff is on the Missouri side. Like all the
Yeah.
sports that I don't know. People like sports. There's sports on the
I don't know.
Missouri
People like sports or something. Whatever.
There's a Missouri. I'm from the
The
Missouri
Kansas City
side.
Chiefs are on the Missouri side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is true.
And the Royals, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, they got a raw deal the other side.
Yeah.
It's probably nothing over there. There's not a city I know in Kansas besides Kansas City.
Oh.
Ken,
Yeah.
Topeka. All right. I know too.
I mean, the Westboro Baptists are from Kansas. So
Oh,
that
really?
would-
That's their claim to fame.
yeah.
I'm sure
all
everyone in Kansas loves that.
Yeah, I'm sure they were really happy.
So you came up to Chicago for what reason though?
I left Missouri I came here for college, basically.
Okay.
It was the closest big city.
Is it? Kansas City's pretty big.
I mean, it's not
Really
I wouldn't
big.
call it a big city.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mid-sized city. It's
Yeah.
big. I mean, it's cool now. Like
Yeah.
everyone I grew up with has grown up and made really cool businesses and turned Kansas City into this really awesome artist-focused community. So it's changed a lot. But when I lived there, it was like not like that at
gotta
all.
get out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I got out of there and came to Chicago because I wanted to go to a school that didn't have sports.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a real reason?
Yeah.
What,
I went to art school. I mean, it's art school.
Okay. You went to Columbia?
Yeah, I
No.
went to Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my only guess. Otherwise, they have an art institute here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they've got SAIC and
Okay. Was it cool? Did you like it in Columbia College?
it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. The classes I ended up really liking weren't fashion based classes.
Gotcha.
I remember taking women and gender studies and like human sexuality and those being really awesome, but I didn't love the fashion program,
Sure.
but I also worked full time the second I moved here. So I ended up
Jeez.
switching to night classes and So I didn't get that like real college experience that most people get.
So when you were in Missouri, what you wanted to do fashion at that point, right? Or
yeah. So, I mean, I was 18.
why?
And
Just cause?
just cause.
I don't know. I feel like that's sometimes the reason for teenagers.
Why? Just cause.
Just cause, you know.
Next question.
Yeah.
I got into fashion. I mean, in high school is really when I started caring about it a lot more. But it was a way, self-expression. Like that's what most people say about fashion, is self-expression. And I was from a place where there wasn't that much of it. And it felt,
a theme,
it felt like a connection to the bigger world. Like it was before Instagram, it was before fashion was so accessible, which is great that it is now. But it didn't used to be a thing where you could go to Target and find fashionable clothes. And now you can go anywhere and find it, and everyone's kind of on the same page because we see each other on social media and all of that.
Yeah.
But before it was a pretty more of a niche thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't super popular to be fashionable.
Yeah.
Not fashionable, but like into fashion.
Yeah.
That sounds like such a dig.
Fashionable. All those losers out there that are fashionable. No, I get what you mean though, because there's definitely more of a focus on it because there's just more images out there that everyone can see of how you dress and what you look like.
Yeah, for sure. And you used to have to be really intentional about seeking out what was going on in the rest of the world as far as fashion. But also I was 18 and my parents let me major in clothes.
That's pretty cool.
So
cool parents,
I guess. But I went for fashion business because everyone was like, don't be a starving artist. You gotta go for business.
Yeah.
And then I went.
And I didn't like it.
And then I did it for 10 years. And then I quit to become a starving artist. Nice. So here we are.
What did you do? You were an account executive. So what does that entail?
So
were you buying stuff and
I was selling to the buyers.
Okay.
So some people call it an account executive. That's what it was at my last job.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a sales rep.
Okay.
So basically I worked with brands and I would be the point of contact with buyers from different retail stores and things like that. And your job is to show them the upcoming line that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
And to advise them on their buys and all that, make sure they're getting the right assortment. And you're their representative or like their point person with the brand.
Do you think there would have been a job in fashion that you enjoyed, or do you just think you just didn't like the 9-to-5 sort of corporate culture stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it when I first started it.
Oh, okay.
And there were things I still liked about it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like feeding me. You know what I mean? It was literally giving me money for food.
Yeah.
But it wasn't doing anything for me anymore.
Was it like you sort of felt like sometimes when I have had jobs that weren't like stimulating to my brain, it almost feels like I'm losing my brain power. Have you ever felt like that?
Oh my, absolutely. Exactly.
Like I can't even think. Like I can't even my words aren't coming out as fast, you know?
Yeah. Well,
it's weird.
It's very strange because it's the whole thing of when you aren't learning new skills and you're doing this for most of your day, you become really robotic.
Right.
And I absolutely felt like that. I really felt like I was getting dumb.
I know.
Like I felt like I was getting dumb. So at work, I mean, I traveled a ton for work, but a lot of times when I was back in Chicago at the showroom, I'd be sitting at my desk from like 9 to 6.
Yeah.
And just doing emails and all this account maintenance stuff.
Yeah.
And so I started like on the low listening to podcasts. And that was really helpful because I could passively like kind of be learning and hearing new information because I couldn't be like reading.
Yeah.
Reading books.
On a book in front
Exactly.
of your computer.
And that helped me tremendously, listening to things that I wouldn't otherwise be able to read during my workday. So yeah, it's just that it's the whole thing of needing to be learning new skills or having some sort of challenge. Like that's a huge thing. It's just that when you get in a job and you become as good as you can really get at it, then like what else is there? What's there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You just sort of do it.
You just do it forever until you die.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. That's what always gets me is like, for all we know, and all intents and purposes, you know, whatever you believe, but we only have like one shot, really. You know, we have like a set amount of time here, and so you want to make it at least enjoyable for yourself on a daily basis, you know,
right?
And not just sort of show up someplace and be like, oh, okay, I gotta sit here for 8 hours and then leave.
Yeah,
like, that's not a good day.
Yeah, for sure. And my job was a pretty high stress environment.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like there wasn't great community and those things there are things about your job that can make it still enjoyable. Like if you've got great coworkers, if you've got a job that gives you freedom to do the things that you want to do and is flexible, then that's awesome. But I mean, for lack of a better term, it was just soul sucking. So I was so tired constantly. Oh yeah. And just baseline, just so unhappy. But now I sleep a lot.
Nice. So, sleep is important.
It's crazy important.
Yeah.
It is the biggest life-changing thing. Aside from quitting my job, it's like really allowing myself to sleep and not guilting myself for sleeping. Because I don't sleep an excessive amount, but
I'm not like a bear hibernating.
I don't sleep 12 hours a night. But I do try to get 8 hours of sleep, and it's helped me so much. Like my mental state has improved. For sure. But we do this weird thing where we all brag about how little sleep we get.
I know.
And we're like, I work harder than you.
We have a weird culture about working in America just generally.
Yeah.
It's like basically if you work yourself to death, that is like that's the good. You know?
It's so strange. It's a weird culture that we have here. Because it's even, so we had a showroom in London, and they would come over for our sales meetings. And our like British counterparts, they would be like, you guys work, like, why do you work so much? Why, like, you guys don't get this many holidays off? Yeah. We just like, we don't have to work that much. Yeah. And it was a total like disconnect with how Americans work themselves to death. Yeah. I mean, we're not the only culture
that's like that, but yeah, it is weird here because I've heard that from more than one. And I lived there for 6 months, but I was in Ireland for 6 months, and like I have an anxiety disorder, and I was so relaxed there, so much more relaxed. You know, no one's in a rush, you know, pretty much ever. People are very understanding, you know, it felt more relaxed. And I had a panic attack to the point of like going to the hospital when I had to come back here.
Oh man.
Like a week before. So I was like, okay, like my body's telling me something.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, everyone's wondering why we're all so depressed and anxious. Yeah. And it's really just look at the environment that we're in, like what we're culture
that fosters that. Right. So of course,
work ourselves to death. We hold ourselves to incredible expectations, and we rush around everywhere. Yeah, like that whole mindset. I had to change that too. The mindset of like there isn't enough time, or that I need to like rush to get somewhere all the time. And it's just nothing is really worth that like panic that you self-induce. Right. There's no point. Right. It's like, it's going to be fine.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Go on the train, you know, and just see how many people push you and like try to get on like and run quickly to get on trains and stuff.
Yeah. It's crazy. But it's also, that's like probably caused by jobs that really freak out if you're a minute late. Right. So, because that matters. Yeah. Because 1 minute late matters. Yeah. It's all bizarre.
Yeah. So, is there a specific like piece you've done for someone that you're really proud of that you can remember, like even a company or anyone that had like a really cool reaction to it, and you're like, oh, that's why I do this still, like that, you know what I mean?
To be real honest, almost every piece I make, because I've been staring at it for such an incredibly long time, I hate it.
Really?
I hate it when I finish it. Just for a second. Just for like I need to take like a 3-day break.
No, I get
give
that.
it a second, and then I can revisit and be like, okay, that looks good. Yeah. But it's that holding yourself to
unrealistic standards.
Exactly. Yeah. But I love the Damn Fine banner. Like that's something that I'm very proud of because they're all really great. They've kind of become family to me because that's my everyday coffee shop. And I work from home, so I go slightly insane by being cooped up. And sometimes they're my only social interaction. So I go there and I've like weaseled my way into most of their lives. Like, hi.
I'm sure they
be
love
my
it,
friend.
you know? Yeah. Well, that's what you got to do. I was talking about this the other day, and it's like when you're an adult, it's hard to make friends. You know, it's like a lot harder when you're in college and you're sort of in an environment that like fosters that. Like they make you be friends.
Right.
And when you graduate, it's sort of like, okay, well, you know, go do your job and, you know, work and whatever. It's like a lot harder of an environment to be like, oh, be my friend. Like we should be friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You just have to go to the same coffee shop every day.
For years. And then they'll finally be friends with you.
I think it took me like a year
to
get in there.
Did it?
Yeah.
That
It took
seems
me like
about
a
right,
year
though.
to like get into their friendship zone.
How did you work it in? Were you like at first like make small talk, you know, and then you work up to more serious topics of like, or how'd you do it?
I don't know. It just kind of naturally happened. You know, when you see the same people every day, it gets to be like that. And also because I would see them when I used to work my other job, but I was always in a hurry.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Running in to grab my coffee while I was already late.
Right.
So I didn't really make friends then, but once I had time to like hang a little bit and sit at the bar or like the little counter.
Yeah. Is it the same people like that work there pretty much all the time?
It's a small team.
Yeah.
I think it's like five or six
Because does the owner work there too? Like
Yeah, there's a couple owners, but one of the owners works there. But they're all just like super nice, chill people.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that my coffee shop that has become very much a part of my community wanted a piece from me, and I got to make something for their anniversary, and it hangs in the shop that I see every day.
Yeah.
And that's.
Do you ever just stand by and see if anyone takes your photo?
Well, I'm gonna bring in a little photo of myself to put next to it, maybe, so that people can recognize me. It's by me.
Does this look familiar to you?
I'm gonna stand by the door and troll everyone. Be like, hey, did you see that?
You see that?
I made that. Check it out.
It's pretty cool, right? Should go take a picture or something. No, that's really cool. Yeah, because you know, moving to new places, it's tough. It's tough to make new friends. So I'll have to go to like coffee shops over and over again.
That's the move. I mean, even when I travel, my first thing that I do is I try to find a good coffee shop. Usually, someone like that roasts themselves, or just a third wave coffee shop, and I ask them for recommendations. Yeah, because it usually is a little indicative of their taste.
Oh, sure.
You know, so you can find
mesh together.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, you like good coffee. Yeah. You probably like good bars, and you're local, so you'll know some spots, and that's how you do it. Yeah. Because I go to CC Ferns a lot. You know that one? Yeah.
And there's like always one guy that works there. But he knows me now. You know, but I feel like he knows everyone. Do you
know his name? No, I don't. You gotta find out.
I don't know his name. I'll ask him next time I'm in there.
You do.
Yeah.
You gotta.
But you know, it's one of those things that's just like, at what point now? Because he asked my name, and I'm sure he told me his. I think it's Ben. But I wouldn't just go with that. Ben, right? No.
You just ask someone how to spell their name, and then he's gonna say
Ben. Oh, so it's not the weird spelling of Ben that's out there that
There's no H in there.
Yeah, I usually hear it differently. Huh? That's interesting. Must be a cultural thing. Yeah, but no, I think it's Ben. But I don't know. You get to that certain point though where it's like, okay, I can't ask you what your name is. It's been too long. I should have asked.
No, you can still do it. I think that's
no, it's not a thing.
I mean, we all do that though. If we all walk around talking about how we can't remember people's names, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I'm never offended if someo's like, "Hey, what's your name again?"
Yeah,
you know.
So you just it's fine.
It's more weird if they like have a whole conversation and then ask at the end. I'm like, you should have just asked up front. It's okay. I'm not offended. You don't have to try to weasel it out of me. So, if you got married, would you take your fiance's last name, or just like weird ways to try to get your name out of you?
Yeah, I think we do that thing where we dance around and drown ourselves in our own politeness when really you can just say the thing that everyone...
It's our own ego and guilt and stuff that we're like projecting on someone else.
It doesn't matter. You can just be like, hey, it's weird that I've never asked your name and I can't remember it. So. Yeah.
So where can people find out more about what you do and like what on Instagram, is it mostly?
Yeah. So I'm pretty active on the gram.
Yep.
Most people reach out to me through DMs.
For projects and stuff
Exactly.
that they want? Yeah.
Like if you're interested in getting something custom, you can reach out to me, slide into my DMs. It's not weird.
Yeah. Just in a normal way.
It's a work thing.
Yeah.
And then you can reach out to me on my email is hello@JWoska.com.
Do you have a website?
I don't. I have it. I have
Yeah,
have it reserved.
Yeah. So don't get it.
But it's, that's another thing on my to-do list. It's just like another thing I'd have to maintain. Eventually, it would be nice to have it.
Yeah.
I'll do it one day.
Because like websites with a lot of it is like the initial setup of doing it. Once you have it set up, it's like pretty easy to maintain.
Right.
It's hard to get it how you want it though. That's what I have a problem with because I don't know how to code.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, my coding experience is like Zanga and MySpace.
Those are two good ones though. I wish MySpace came back. I love MySpace. It was so cool.
Yeah, it's terrible now.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Justin Timberlake owns part of it, I think.
He's ruined MySpace. Justin Timberlake.
You could have your own song, on there. You could your top 8 friends, really stir up some stuff by changing it up. And yeah, those were awesome days.
Yeah, I used to handwrite things and then scan them in and then drop that image into like my info box.
That's really
so
cool.
my profile was like handwritten because I thought my cool scripty handwriting was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool though.
And now all I do is scripty handwriting.
Yeah.
So that's my job.
You could have done that on AIM too, with your away messages.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't as advanced in those days.
Yeah, me neither. I would just put on like song lyrics or something,
Passive aggressive
really
message to your friends.
Yeah. Yeah. But thank you for coming out.
Thanks for having
appreciate
me.
it. We've wandered into some weird territory.
Yeah.
But so go check her out on Instagram. Do you have like a Facebook page too, or no? You don't really?
No, I don't have Facebook.
Okay.
The only social media I do is Instagram.
So if someone finds you on Facebook, it's not you. That's good to know.
It's not me. I actually think there is one that's just like a business page and it says Jessi Woska, and I didn't make it. I think maybe one of the companies I worked with like tagged me in a thing and I don't know. So it doesn't have.
Okay.
It doesn't have any pictures.
Well, there you go. So what's your Instagram one more time?
It's JWoska. It's my name. So JWoska.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's nice to, now that we have met.
Yes. Now we're friends forever.